Good morning, everyone. Happy November, and I hope you all enjoyed your extra hour of sleep this morning. I know I did. Welcome to today's service. We'll be observing Shotsuki Hoyo, which is our monthly memorial service. We'll start with offering of fruit and floral by our high school Dharma school students. Smitty Sensei will now lead us in silent meditation.
Kansho. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in acts. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
We will now have the reading of the Shotsuki Hoyo names.
As I read the names of loved ones and friends who have passed away in the month of November, I invite you to come forward and Oshoko, or offer incense. Sonako Kuroiwa. Maureen F. Nakano. Mitsuo Ishihara. Yukio Kawamoto. David T. Shiraishi. Kirk Akahoshi. Norman Satoshi Yagare. Tokuko Huffman. Kazuo Kosaka. Shigeru Oto. Ritsuko Nabeta. Dennis Morinaka. Yoshiko Nakamura. Akiji Ochi. Sachie Yamamoto. Albert Ichiro Saito. Tamayo Yoshisaka. Philip Marin Martinez, Dick Toshio Hachisu, Husaku Matsui, George Terasaki, Sadako Ishizu, Asako Fujii, Kunio Kawamoto, Hiroichi Hiroshige, Max E. Barrett, Takayoshi Ohara, Margaret Fumiko Terada, Hatsuye Ueno, Sachiko Santo Higashi, Katsuyo Hamaguchi, Aiko Hamatake, Giichi Omori, Richard Ejima, Kimi Kenyoe, Fujie Sakamoto, Zensuke Sueyoshi, Chiyo Yamashita, Kiku Sueyoshi, Umeno Itami, Tora Azuma, Shigeru Masumoto, Isao Nishiguchi, Iwa Furuya, Sonojo Samashima, Kyoji Mayumi, Taira Hosaka, Shinobu Takeshita, Stephen Torio, Lillian Segawa, Nao Taketa, Motoji Yada, Hatsuno Tsuji, Asano Iguchi, Okiku Sakamoto, Amako Nakamura, Imataro Kawamoto, Masashi Ito, Yasuo Murata, Kanejiro Kondo, Mine Sugiyama, Ejiro Inoue, Kiemon Shinden, Shika Masumoto, Setsuko Mizoshima, Suye Kato, Chiyo Yano, Shinyemon Honda, Shintaro Morikawa, Tsugi Imezumi. Again, you're invited to come forward and offer incense for loved ones and friends who departed this world in November, whether I have read their name this morning or not.
Please open your service books to page 44 for the chanting of the Sanbutsuge.
Nichigatmani shuko enyo kai shinon pe yunyaku jumok nyo rayogen chose murin shogaku daion koru jipo kaimon shojin sanmai chi e itokumuro shushoku ke ujintai zennen shobuten Hōkai gujin jin no kugo gaitai mumyo yokunu seison yomu nin no shishi jin tokumuro kukun kodai chi e jinmyo komyo iso shindo daisen ganga so Butendai so ho kado shoji mi huge daten husejo I kainin shojin nyoze sanmai chi e ijo go se toku buten hu gyo shigan isai kuku isa dai an keshu buten yakusen nokuman muyoro dai sho shunyo goja kuyo isai shito shobuten hunyo gudo kensho hugyaku hinyo goja shobuten sekai buhu kage mushu setendo komyo shisho Henshi shokoku nyoze shojin ijin nanro roga sabuten kokudo dai ichigo shu kimyo dojo chozen koku nyo nai on Nimu so gato aimin godaten isai jiporai sho shineten shoujo ito ga koku keraku an on kobuten shin myo ze ga shin sho hoten ga no hi riki ho sho ryoku ji po se son chi e mu ge joro shi son chi ga shin gyo ke ro shin shi shoku doku chu ga gyo sho jin ninju fu ke Sho namanda 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 namanda.
Smitty Sensei will now share a Dharma school message.
Only if you let us read our pledge first.
Sorry, I missed that. All right. Please join us in reading our pledge. It's found on the insert of your service book. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo Amida
Butsu.
Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namanda
Butsu.
namanda.
All right, Smitty Sensei, it's your turn.
Thank you for letting us read that. If everybody would please join me in Gassho or with palms together. Gratitude is indeed medicine. It is the antidote for greed and misery. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. So good morning. It's good to see so many here today. Does anybody know what big holiday is coming up? Yes? Okay, so for those who don't say yes right now, I'll give you a hint, so maybe everybody will get this one. It's not specifically a Jodo Shinshu holiday, although it really has good Jodo Shinshu vibes about it. And it falls on a Thursday in November. Everybody know what I'm talking about now? What is it? Yes, Thanksgiving. Okay. Phew. So Thanksgiving is a day we generally express our thankfulness or our gratitude for all that we have and all that sustains our lives. And I know Thanksgiving Day comes at the end of the month, and I might seem to be rushing things a little bit here. And this Sunday is much closer to the very beginning of the month, but I'm not going to have an opportunity to talk about Thanksgiving with you before Thursday the 27th. So this is my one opportunity this time around. But you know, without the reminder of the Thanksgiving holiday, I think a lot of us forget to be grateful. And we can act a little bit greedy instead. So I'd like to share a couple of short stories with you about greed, which is one of the 3 poisons that can make our lives more difficult and miserable. And the 3 poisons, of course, are greed, anger, and stupidity, which we can remember by the first letters of G, A, and S, or gas. Right, so anyways, on with the stories. The first one is the story of the greedy dog. Greedy's right there in the title. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, there lived a stray dog. This dog was always hungry and perpetually searching for food. His belly seemed to have a never-ending void, and he was never satisfied with what he had or what he received. You might say that his greed and his hunger knew no bounds. So every day the dog would wander around sniffing for scraps, hoping to fill his growling stomach. But no matter how much he ate, it was never enough. He would promise himself that he'd be content with the next meal, but as soon as he finished eating, the hunger returned and he'd yearn for more. And one sunny day, the town's butcher had thrown the pup a very meaty bone. And the dog was hurrying back to his sheltered alley with his prize as fast as he could go. And while eager to get to his home, the dog came across a bridge that spanned a gently flowing river. And so he trotted across the bridge and he glanced down into the water. And to his surprise, he saw another dog, a mirror image of himself, holding a meaty bone in his mouth. And the bone looked very big and very delicious, and the greedy little dog's eyes widened with desire. And at that moment, the dog's greed took over. He barked at the reflection, thinking it was another dog. That bone should be mine too, he thought. But as he opened his mouth to bark, the bone slipped from his jaws and fell into the river. And the greedy little dog watched helplessly as the bone disappeared beneath the water. It was then that he realized the truth. There was no other dog. The reflection was his own. His greed had cost him the meaty bone that he already had. He had lost what he possessed because he wanted more. Well, the next one is the story of the greedy monkey. Again, greedy right there in the title, so you know what's coming. Once upon a time, in a dense jungle, there lived a very greedy little monkey. And this monkey loved to eat and was always looking for more food, even when he wasn't hungry. Did you ever do that? You go to the refrigerator and you open it up and look in to see what's there, even when you're not hungry? Or maybe to the pantry with snacks and go in and look in there and you just kind of stare for a little while. Yeah, that's kind of how this monkey was. Anyways, one day the monkey found a tree full of delicious ripe mangoes on the other side of a river, and his mouth watered at the sight of the golden fruit. But there was a problem. The river was deep and wide. As he sat thinking, the little monkey noticed a small, rickety wooden bridge. Carefully, he crossed the unstable bridge and climbed the mango tree. The monkey plucked as many mangoes as he could and stuffed them into his arms. But then he wanted more, so he grabbed one last mango, filling his hands completely. Then the little monkey headed back home. When he tried to cross the rickety little bridge to go back, the monkey struggled to hold on to all the mangoes. Halfway across, one mango slipped from his grasp and fell toward the river. Desperate to catch it, the greedy little monkey reached down. But in doing so, he lost his balance on the swaying bridge and dropped all the mangoes into the water. Now he had nothing. Sad and hungry, the little monkey realized his mistake. If only I had taken just enough, I wouldn't have lost everything, he thought. So, the story of the greedy dog and the story of the greedy monkey both have very clear lessons. Even though one story is about a dog and the other story is about a monkey, the lesson is pretty much the same, since it cautions us about one of the three poisons in Buddhism, which is greed. And as a reminder, the other two poisons, along with greed, are anger and stupidity. Okay. Of course, stupidity is sometimes referred to as ignorance, but it means pretty much the same thing, so I think stupidity is probably easier to remember, and it's still one of the three poisons. Anyways, these two stories aren't just telling us what not to do, as in not be greedy. They're also reminding us what we should do, as in being grateful for what we have. Sometimes the three poisons, and in this case greed, make us forget about the many things we already have. When we want more money, bigger and better toys, games, or the latest electronic gadget, we're being a little bit greedy sometimes. We forget that we already have some money. We already have perhaps a few toys or games we like to play, or a perfectly fine iPhone, even though it's not the latest model. Greed blinds us to what is already present in our lives, and just like the dog or the monkey in the stories, we think we should have more. In the little dog's case, he wanted more to eat, so when he went after what he thought was another dog with a bigger bone, he was blind to the fact that despite being a stray, he was already living pretty well because he found food to eat in his village, and people, like the butcher, would literally throw him a bone now and then. And it was greed that made the little monkey try to get just one more mango, which slipped from his grip and caused all of the mangoes to be lost in the river. He was blind to the fact that he gathered plenty of mangoes to eat, and one additional mango wasn't really necessary. So greed made both the dog and the monkey forget about the attitude of gratitude that each of us should be practicing. You know, gratitude is one of the most fundamental and most important Jodo Shinshu practices that we have. It's the practice of recognizing what we have received and being grateful for it. You know, practicing gratitude can counteract greed by shifting our focus from what we think is lacking in our lives to what we already possess. We should all have a deep sense of gratitude for all that we have and all that we are. Gratitude is a simple practice, but it's also one that's easy to overlook. We can use the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday as a reminder of this important practice, the practice of being thankful. and the problems we run into when we overlook all that we should be grateful for. So please join me once again in Gassho as we celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday a little bit early and express our gratitude for all that we have and all that we are by together proclaiming the name of the Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Thank you, Smitty Sensei, for your reminder about being grateful for what we have. Please rise for the Gatha Tsuki ga Deta, found on page 148 of your Gatha book. Thank you. May be seated. We'll have some announcements, so if you have an announcement, can you please come up? I also wanted to let everyone know that there will be no Dharma, Japanese Dharma message today, but Reverend Mukojima will be here next Sunday and will be delivering one then.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the 100-Year Committee, I just wanted to let you know that we were going to be having a crane making session on November 16th, Sunday, after service, and it'll be probably in the conference room. And on another note, the Akamatsuri yesterday, a lot of you attended. It was sponsored by Kiku, and it was at the Julep venue in near Old Townish. And I just wanted to thank Bill Teague for setting up our booth. He really did a great job at making our booth look professional. We were one of the many Japanese booths there that just representing the temple. Really thank him for that, and for the people that manned the booth to share our Dharma with others. I think they did have quite a few people stop by the booth. So thank you to Arturo Lourdes, Sharon and Brian, Sasaki, Norman, Kiono, and who else? Did I forget someone? And Joyce and Bill. But anyway, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Luann. I appreciate that. I'm Bill Teague, and I wear a few hats here too, but today I wanted to remind people about our sample tile. This is a fundraising project we're doing to jumpstart our 100th year anniversary. So there are handouts about it in the lobby, and in fact, I'll bring some after this, after the close of the service, so you can take a look at a sample tile and then read more about it. And just to be clear, where these are going, it's going to be right near the double glass doors that you probably came through this morning to enter the temple and come upstairs to the Hondo. So many of us will be planning on doing a tribute to our loved ones or saying words of encouragement, and there's enough room to say a few things anyway. You can also get a tile that includes the Wheel of Dharma to show the Buddhist origin of the sentiment. And then changing topics slightly, not only do we get to see our former minister, Reverend Yushi Mukojima, next Sunday, we hope that he's doing the Dharma talk, so we're hoping he's bringing his little friend Putra. Many of the little kids have not seen Putra in action, so I hope that happens. But also, we're going to be celebrating his return with a potluck. The board will provide the main dish, but if you could bring a side salad or other vegetable dish or dessert, that'd be great. Our potlucks are always wonderful, so please don't miss that. Thank you very much.
Hello, the Junior YBA is hosting a food drive now until November 22nd. You can put all food in the foyer. And I'd also like to thank everyone who came to the Dharma School Halloween party. It was a lot of fun, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Margot, your friendly brittle lady. I just want to make an announcement that we have still brittle corn and brittle for sale. The Sweethearts I think there's only a few bags left, so if you want that, you better get down there. We're selling it downstairs, and since it's a Shotsuki service, I think that it would be great if everybody bought some for whoever they came to memorialize today. So anyway, we'll be selling downstairs, so we appreciate your donations. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Nice to see so many of you at Temple today for our service up. Next Sunday was mentioned was our Eitai Kyo service. Eitai Kyo is our annual perpetual memorial service, and we remember all those members of the temple, either known or unknown, who played a part in our temple. So if you look in this month's temple newsletter, we have listings of all the names of families who have dedicated the remembrance of their loved ones toward the Eitai Kyo service. So that will be next Sunday, and of course it was announced that Reverend Mukojima will be our guest speaker. He'll be giving us messages to Dharma School, English Adult, and Japanese. Also, in conjunction with the Eitai Kyo service will be the All Life Forms Memorial. So if you have a pet that you'd like to have remembered, please fill out the form. I think it's going to be in your Dharma School classes that will be handed out. So please fill out the form. It's for Dharma School, anybody in the Sangha who has a pet and you'd like to have them remembered. And so that will be next Sunday as well. Our next big fundraising event will be Mochitsuki. And I think all of you remember last year we made mochi for the new year. We're going to do it again on Sunday, December 14th. So it'll be a full day of activity, especially Dharma School. You'll have a lot of things to help with, and adults too, so please plan for Mochitsuki that weekend. And if you'd like to order mochi, there are forms downstairs in the office you can fill out to order your mochi and the kasane. Okay, thank you.
Dharma School students, you are now excused. Please come up and gasho. I'm sorry, Oshoko. Please open your books to page 96 for the Vandana and Sarana.
And please join me in chanting all parts of the Vandana and Sarana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Yasho Namanda 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 Namanda.
Welcome back, Smitty Sensei, for Adult Dharma Message.
Before I get into my Dharma talk, I'd like to just clarify something, that next Sunday being the All Life Forms Memorial Service, it doesn't include just pets. It's anyone or any formerly living thing that you would like to remember or honor. So we've had in the past some folks who have been missing, perhaps an auntie or uncle who had passed away, or a good friend who's no longer with us, and even sometimes things like trees who are living entities that perhaps succumbed to rot and had to be cut down, or things like that. So please take the opportunity to remember those living beings that were once a special part of your life, and so should still remain part of your life. So don't just focus on perhaps a pet that is no longer with you. Just like my phone, there's commercials everywhere. Can't get away from them. Please join me in Gassho. Everything in life is a gift. When we begin to look at life from the perspective of the recipient, that everything in life is a gift, what we know, what we own, what we have achieved, they are all in a sense gifts, because nothing can be accomplished solely on one's own. Therefore, the Shin Buddhist way of life is the life of unending gratitude. The more one becomes grateful, the more one becomes humble. The more one becomes humble, the less one needs in life. And the less one needs in life, the more one truly has. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandab, Namandab, Namandab. Well, good morning again. I decided to begin with that quote from Bishop Marvin Harada because it reminds us that everything in life, even that which we think of as our own accomplishments and possessions or achievements, and even life itself, these are actually things which we have received through not only our own efforts, but through the efforts of others. These things are all gifts. And of course, this is something I've told you before, but I think it bears repeating. What's the first thing we should do when we receive a gift? Why, we look for the gift receipt so we can exchange it for what we really wanted. Thank you. What are you talking about? Okay, of course not. We do. You're correct. We do say thank you. We acknowledge the gift with our gratitude. Then we look for the gift receipt. So, why am I talking about gifts and gratitude? Well, partially because advertising about gift giving is already starting to inundate us daily, and we just barely got through Halloween. This tells me that the holiday season is rapidly approaching, and further evidence of this fact is that even before we bought bags of candy to share with the ghosts, ghouls, and goblins on Friday night, the stores were already filled with Christmas decorations. Retailers used to wait until Thanksgiving week before putting up Christmas items. Then it was moved to the days following Halloween that tinsel and colored strings of lights and oversized candy canes started to appear. Now the Christmas stuff invades the stores before the last masks and trick-or-treat goodies have left the shelves. So from basically early October until December 25th, we're bombarded by holiday-themed ads on our TVs or computers or our cell phones, telling us what to put on our wish lists, what to wrap and place under a tree, and even what to park in the driveway, adorned with a giant red bow, of course. Make it a December to remember. You know, we just can't escape it. But this holiday mania that surrounds us really seems to run counter to the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist practice of gratitude that I talked to the kids about just a little bit ago. The holiday season seems to be more about, give me this, give me that, I want this and I want that, than expressing thankfulness, despite the big holiday coming up later this month that's named Thanksgiving. Yes. See, I knew you guys learned. So giving thanks, that's what we're supposed to be doing, isn't it? This is the time of year to get together with friends and relatives, watch inflatable balloon versions of cartoon characters and superheroes parading down the streets of New York, stuff ourselves with turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, and pie, watch football players pummel each other on the gridiron, and watch shoppers pummel each other for the doorbuster bargains. Perhaps somewhere during the feasting and festivities, we should take a moment to reflect on things for which we're grateful as well. But often thankfulness is an afterthought if we give it any thought at all. So maybe this season we could try to put the thanks back into Thanksgiving. We're Jodo Shinshu Buddhists after all. As Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, our primary practice isn't sitting in meditation or studying the sutras or performing rituals or observing the precepts. You know, personally, I'm thankful for that last one, that we don't strictly follow the precepts, even Jodo Shinshu ministers, because on November 27th, I plan on gobbling up some turkey and washing it down with an adult beverage, both activities frowned upon by the precept-following Buddhists. But I kind of digress there. Of course, all these various practices have value, but as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, our primary focus should be the practice of gratitude. This sets us apart from many other Buddhist traditions. We don't practice to achieve anything, not enlightenment or good karma or a favorable rebirth or material rewards. We practice simply giving thanks for what we've already received. This may require a shift in our perspective, but when pursued, this practice of gratitude can be transformative. To understand this shift in perspective, I'd like to share a Chinese Taoist story. You see, stories aren't just for kids, they're for adults too. So, once upon a time, because that's a good way to start stories, there was an old farmer who had worked his fields for many years. And one day his horse ran away. And upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. "Oh, such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "You must be so sad." The old farmer just smiled. A week later, the horse returned, accompanied by a herd of wild horses from the hills. And the neighbors again visited the old farmer and this time congratulated the farmer on his good luck. "How wonderful," the neighbors exclaimed. "Not only did your horse return, but you received several more horses. What great fortune you have." And the old farmer just smiled. The following day, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the untamed horses. He was thrown and he broke his leg. And the neighbors came again to see the old farmer and offered their sympathy of his misfortune. "Oh, now your son can't help you with the farming," they said. "What terrible luck you have." And the old farmer, he just smiled. The following week, military officials came to the village to conscript able-bodied young men into the army. And seeing the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. And the neighbors soon came by and congratulated the farmer on how well things turned out. "Such great news! You must be so happy." And the old farmer, he just smiled. So the neighbors in this story perceive everything as either good or bad. They were happy about what they viewed as fortunate events, the receipt of additional horses and the rejection of the son by the army. And they lamented what they viewed as unfortunate events, the loss of the farmer's workhorse and the son's broken leg. But throughout it all, the old farmer always just smiled. You know, he was doing so because he was simply grateful for each and every day and all that he experienced, whether the events seemed on the surface to be fortunate or unfortunate. The villagers were only grateful for some things, but the old farmer was grateful for all things. To the old farmer, every day was a gift, and every day was a day of thanksgiving. So as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, we strive to truly understand our absolute dependence on other people, all other beings, all other forms of life that sustain our own lives. And only by awakening to the interdependent, interconnected, and impermanent nature of our existence can we begin to appreciate the gift of this life and the gift of each day, the gift of all that we encounter, and the preciousness of each moment. Only in awakening to these gifts can we become aware of profound debt of gratitude to countless people and beings, to life in all its forms, and to great wisdom and compassion, which embraces us always. When we awaken to the truth that we exist solely through the gifts and benevolence of others, our response must surely be to bow our heads in humility, place our palms together, and say Namo Amida Butsu in gratitude and joy for being allowed to walk this path together. That's what we mean by the practice of gratitude. So this year on the Thanksgiving holiday, let's take a moment to pause and reflect on the causes and conditions, the inconceivable chain of events and situations, the hard work of others, and the all living beings who gave up their very existence so that we could come together on that day, in that moment, with family, friends, companions, and community. As Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, let's make this Thanksgiving Day and every day a day of giving thanks. And then we can get on with stuffing ourselves with food and stuffing our shopping carts with Black Friday bargains. So please join me again in Gassho. Everything in life is a gift. When we begin to look at life from the perspective of the recipient, that everything in life is a gift. What we know, what we own, what we have achieved, they are all in a sense gifts, because nothing can be accomplished solely on one's own. Therefore, the Shin Buddhist way of life is a life of unending gratitude. The more one becomes grateful, the more one becomes humble. The more one becomes humble, the less one needs in life. And the less one needs in life, the more one truly has. Namo Amida Butsu, Namandab, 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 Namandab.
Thank you, Smitty Sensei. Your message reminded me of an app that I downloaded a couple years ago called 3 Good Things, and I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a free app. And I just looked, and since I had downloaded it, you write 3 good things that happen to you every day, and sometimes it's hard, but there's always a way to find 3, even if it's the smallest things. And I guess I've tracked 2,721 good things since I've downloaded the app. So it's always a great reminder that even in days that are challenging, that you can always find some good. Please rise for the Gatha Ondoksan. It can be found on page 128 in your service book. Thank you. You may be seated. We'll now have closing meditation. Gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Melody Beatty. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo. Namo.
Thank you for joining us today. Invite you to come up to offer incense if you already haven't done so. Oh, and Ralph has one more announcement.
Thank you, Chelsey. This wasn't announced during the announcement, but today, Kiku organization, they'll be having Anju Madoka. She's a performer, shamisen performer, and she will be performing in the annex hall starting at noon today. And the event is free, so you're welcome to go over there to listen to her. It's going to be about half hour, 45 minutes. But if you do go, and I know it's during lunchtime, and the Kiku group will be passing out bento box lunches to people who attend. So if you're interested in having lunch over there and listening to Anju Madoka, please do so. You're welcome to take in her performance today. Okay, thank you.
Clean it up. Sorry, I
Chelsey.
forgot
Nice
to
job.
thank everyone at the end. That was on my notes too, but I clearly did not prepare well. But thank you for
It's
this.
okay.
And I was looking through the app, and then there was a quote after, which is what I read instead. Because I'm like, oh, this
That's
matches
perfect.
this.
Yeah, I thought so. So that was perfect what you read.
Yeah,
So
'cause
thank you for
there's-
sharing that
yeah.
information too.
There's an app, and so every day there's a different quote from someone, and then you have to type in like these are the three things and how they make you feel. So we did it for work, and it was like just that time. I'm like, I'm gonna be doing it, and so it took me years to learn.
No, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, are there multiple ones? Yeah. Okay.
I know, but there's only a handful of us who celebrate that. So thank you for celebrating it because yeah, there's